Hi everyone, Fran here at New Testament Explained. This video is the first of 4 videos that look at Bible passages that make up Anthology 1 if you are studying New Testament studies as part of Edexcel A-level religious studies. Now, what I mean by Anthology 1 is that there are 10 points in the course where we look at Bible passages explicitly and annotate them, but each of those 10 sections has multiple passages inside of them. So what we do is group them together and say Anthology 1, Anthology 2, and so on until we get to the final section, which is Anthology 10. This series of passages then that make up Anthology 1 are sections of Matthew's birth narrative, hence a Christmas jumper. So the first one we're going to look at is Joseph accepting Jesus as his son in Matthew's Gospel. So in terms of how I go about any video that is a Bible passage that makes up part of an anthology section is I start with an overview of the passage and anything important you need to know at a very broad level, and then in the next section the passage will appear on the screen and I will kind of narrate through how you would analyse it. So what you need to know about Joseph accepts Jesus as his son. This is a passage that is told from the point of view of Joseph. When you see the passage, or if you've got it up now at home on paper, you will notice that it is from the point of view of Joseph. And perhaps most importantly, what we need to know following on from that is that this is the first time Matthew uses a proof text. Now a proof text is a reference to the Old Testament, so there will be a sentence or two within the Bible passage that you can find directly in the Old Testament. And the reason Matthew uses these Old Testament phrases, sentences, is to prove that Jesus is the Messiah, and that's why we are studying them as part of topic 1.1, prophecies regarding the Messiah. These are Bible passages where Matthew is consciously trying to explain to his reader, using Old Testament passages, why Jesus is the Messiah. Proof texts are in all of the Bible passages that make up Anthology 1, but again, this is the first time we're going to see that. So on this slide is the entire Bible passage. The bits in yellow are things we can analyse, but the section in blue is where the proof text is. So the first part I've highlighted is where an angel appears to Joseph and says to him, Joseph, son of David. Now the reason this is important is that it tells us that not only is Joseph from the line of David, but Jesus by consequence will also be from the line of David. And therefore what that means is that a prophecy regarding the Messiah has been met. The prophecy is that the Messiah will descend from the line of David, and in this passage that expectation is being met. On a side note, do just remember that when it says son of David, it's not literal, it's not saying that David was Joseph's dad, his father. It is just getting across the point that Joseph is from the line of David. Onto the blue section then, we've got that we've got the proof text. So all this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophets. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. Now, this is a reference that you can find in Isaiah 7:14, and Isaiah 7:14 reads, Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. So what we've got here is some other expectations regarding the Messiah being met. One, that he will be born to a virgin, and second, that he will be called Emmanuel. What is interesting here, and this links into the final yellow section that they gave him the name Jesus, is that many people say that the Old Testament expectations not being met because the Old Testament says that the Messiah will be called Emmanuel, but Jesus is not called Emmanuel, he's called Jesus. However, Mona Hooker, a scholar, sort of addresses this, and what is said by Mona Hooker is that even though Jesus isn't called Emmanuel in terms of his first name, he will be known as Emmanuel in the sense that Emmanuel means God with us, and that is why Jesus is kind of known more broadly speaking as Emmanuel, because men and women, when they follow Jesus, consider God to be with them. So it's not about Jesus being called Emmanuel sort of as a birth name, but it's about the connection you get through the meaning of the word Emmanuel. And what is interesting, a Bible quote you can use to prove that Jesus sort of meets the expectation of being Emmanuel and meeting those connotations of the word, is that Jesus' last words in Matthew 28:20, when he's kind of at the end of his life, says, "I am with you always." And again, that marries very nicely with the meaning of Emmanuel, that God with us. So that's just the reason I've highlighted the last bit, is to kind of emphasize the point about why being called Emmanuel doesn't stop Jesus meeting a prophecy regarding the Messiah. That's the key information that you need to know about this passage. Now, you can look a little bit deeper into this, historically speaking. You can look at whether the Old Testament reference, so Isaiah 7:14, whether that was a prophecy talking about the future, so a futuristic prophecy, which would be alluding to something like Jesus being born later down the line, or whether it's a preterist prophecy. And a preterist prophecy is where Isaiah was talking about something that was happening in his own time. It wasn't a prediction of the future, it was something that was happening around his time. And what scholars have discussed is whether Isaiah 7:14, where he says the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son and will call him Emmanuel, whether what Isaiah was actually talking about is the birth of Prince Hezekiah in the 8th century BCE. So again, a different angle you could take is looking at the Old Testament reference itself and looking at whether it was a prophecy about the future, about something a future Messiah would do and would meet, or whether actually the Old Testament writer, in this case Isaiah, was talking more about something that was happening in his own time. That then marks the end of my talk through of Joseph accepts Jesus as his son. Big key points you need to take away is that 3 prophecies regarding the Messiah are met, that the virgin will give birth to a son, that he will be called Emmanuel, and that the Messiah will be from the line of David. The proof text is going to be the key point you need to remember, so make sure you have revised that Isaiah 7:14 is the Old Testament passage that matches this text itself. Thank you for watching, and make sure you tune into the next 3 videos that will go through the other Bible passages that make up Anthology 1.